Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, actually, everyone. We're gonna get started in just a minute. I'm gonna let some people join. So we'll probably start in another 2 minutes. So I'll be right back. All right, I think we're gonna jump in and get started. And as people join us, great. So, welcome everyone. I'm Robin Goldenberg. I'm the Vice President here at Strategy Leaders, and I work with growth minded business owners to create systems that actually scale revenue. That's my favorite. I love that. And today we're going to tackle one of the biggest bottlenecks in a growing business, the disconnect between sales and marketing. I've done marketing, I do sales. Obviously, I own a business. And so I really am excited to dive into this. So before we get started, just a little bit about me. So I'm Robin. I work with growth stage business owners who are ready to stop being the bottleneck in their business. Most of my clients come to me when they realize their business is growing, but their systems aren't. And they're stuck in the weeds, carrying every decision, leading the team, closing the deals, and wondering why, after all this time, it still feels this hard. I help them shift from founder reliant chaos to a business that can scale with clear strategy, a team that actually owns outcomes, and systems that create real breathing room. My background is in marketing strategy, but what I really do is help you build a business that doesn't fall apart without you. I've been in the trenches too. So I co own Strategy Leaders, I run a marketing agency, and I co founded a remote staffing company a couple of years ago with some of my friends. And I'm raising kids while doing it all. So when I say that I understand what you're going through, I'm not speaking in theory. I'm really living this. So this workshop today is about giving you tools to create alignment so that your sales and marketing aren't just busy, they're actually generating revenue, which is ultimately what we want because they also cost money. So let's dive in. So, before we dive into the frameworks and strategy, I want to quickly share why we're the right people to have this conversation. So, Strategy Leaders has been coaching and advising small businesses for almost 30 years. Our core work is helping owner led businesses, probably like yours, move from stuck and founder reliant to scalable and growth ready. And I want to clarify that when I say founder, I don't always mean the person who started the business. I mean the owner, the person operating that business now. So we're not just consultants, we're builders. We've coached companies through every kind of growth challenge, leadership shifts, sales slumps, hiring chaos, and acquisitions using strategy first, systems driven approaches. So my marketing agency, Bad Bee Marketing, was born out of that same mission. It's our marketing arm, but only for businesses that already have clarity on strategy. Because we know, and you know, marketing without strategy just burns cash. I see it all the time. We've worked across industries, across the US, with some incredible international clients too. But at the end of the day, we care most about helping hardworking business owners succeed without sacrificing themselves in the process. So, this workshop is built from the same philosophy: real world strategy grounded in data and applied with empathy. So, let's get into it. So, here's what we're doing today. This isn't just a conversation about theory. It's a working session. You're going to apply what we talk about directly to your business in real time. I'm going to ask you to participate. So we'll start by uncovering where your sales and marketing might be out of sync. Because even if you think they're aligned, I promise there are some missed opportunities there. Then we'll walk through a simple framework to bring them together using the same process I use with my coaching clients. And from there, we'll talk Q4: what's coming up, what campaigns make sense, and what assets your sales team actually needs to close deals. By the end, you'll have the start of a Q4 alignment plan that you can take back to your team or build with my support if you want the help. I'd love to help you. Sound good? All right, let's go. So let's talk about the real cost of misalignment. And I'm not just talking about marketing return on investment. When sales and marketing aren't aligned, everything feels harder than it should. You generate leads, but sales says they aren't qualified, or maybe they are, but sales doesn't have the tools or bandwidth to follow up quickly, and so they go cold. So frustrating. And meanwhile, marketing is frustrated that their work isn't being used. Content sits in a Google Drive or Notion or wherever you keep that. Messaging gets rewritten in sales process, and no one's tracking the full revenue picture, just pieces of it. So what happens? You, the owner, you get pulled into the middle, and now you're playing mommy and daddy between departments, managing egos, redirecting blame, and solving problems that really shouldn't be yours. And this isn't just annoying, although it is really annoying. It's expensive. It drains your time, your budget, and your momentum. And it's totally avoidable with the right alignment in place. And that's what we're going to talk about building today. So, what does alignment actually mean? It's not just having your sales and marketing teams sit in the same meeting. It's not just getting along or collaborating on a campaign once in a while. Real alignment between sales and marketing means shared goals, not just volume metrics for marketing and quota metrics for sales. It means speaking the same language, using the same messaging, and addressing the same objections. It means sales has input into what marketing is creating and marketing listens. And it means marketing knows what happens after the lead form is filled out. And both sides own the revenue number, not just a piece of the pipeline. When you get this right, sales and marketing stop working in silos and start functioning like one revenue team. And that's when your growth starts to feel consistent and predictable. So let me give you a quick example of what alignment actually looks like in the real world. So this is a client snapshot. It's an eight-figure service business spending about 10,000 a month on ads. But their sales team said the leads were low quality. Conversion rates were flat, and there was palatable tension between marketing and sales. So we stepped in. We got sales and marketing in the same room. They didn't beat each other up. And we built messaging based directly on sales objections. We created a Q4 campaign with offers that matched how their clients actually buy. And we added weekly huddles, about 15 minutes, super focused to keep feedback loops tight. We didn't increase their budget. We didn't add any new software. We just got everyone aligned to the same goal, to the same ownership. And in 60 days, they saw a 22% lift in revenue. Same spend, better results. And that is the power of alignment. So here is the framework that I use with my clients to drive alignment and unlock consistent revenue. Step one is shared language. So if your marketing and sales are using different words, and they do, I promise you, you're losing trust and momentum. Your messaging should come from your voice of customer. You might see this as a VOC, what your clients are actually saying, and your sales calls. So every objection and question your team hears should be showing up in content. I can take a pause here to tell you that I see this a lot in actually the limo space, luxury travel and transportation, because operators, limo operators, transportation operators speak a different language than their customer might. A really good example would be like chauffeured transportation versus limo versus a driver, right? There's a lot of terminology. Every industry has their own. But ultimately, it's really what your customer says is what's going to make them most compelling. And sales usually knows how the customer talks about the service or product that you're offering, but marketing is sometimes just getting their messaging from the owner or from leadership who may not, face to face with clients and really understand the words that they use. So, the next step two, is revenue focused campaigns. Your campaign should be built around how your customers actually buy, not just what your marketing calendar says. That means syncing your offers, timing, and sales assets to match the sales process, not just play a guessing game. And then step three is for feedback loops and KPI. So, key performance indicators. So, weekly huddles between sales and marketing, shared goals, and metrics that matter like lead quality, sales velocity, and cost per acquisition, not just vanity metrics or siloed dashboards. This isn't a checklist. It's kind of a checklist, but it's not really just a checklist, it's a rhythm. And when you run this consistently, alignment becomes just part of how you operate, and revenue becomes a lot more predictable. Even in industries where I hear all the time that we could never predict our revenue, we just need systems. So, step one, let's dig into shared language. And this is where most businesses go wrong. Sales is out there hearing objections, answering questions, closing deals, and marketing has actually no idea what's working. Or vice versa. Marketing builds a brand voice and messaging that doesn't reflect the real buying experience. So, what I teach clients to do is start with the voice of customer, the VOC, real phrases your prospects and clients are using. This comes from recording sales calls, proposal feedbacks, testimonials, notes from discovery calls, transcripts. All of that is valuable data. Then we take the most common objections like it's too expensive or I need to think about it, we're not ready. And we build positioning around that. So instead of ignoring objections, we just lead with answers. We also make sure that once we land on messaging that works, everyone uses it. Website, emails, sales decks, one pagers. It should all sound like your top performing sales rep on their best day. That could be you, or it could be someone in your company. Now, what if your sales team isn't tracking objections or documenting what's happening in calls? That is more common than not, especially in small businesses where sales is typically owner led or the team is busy and moving fast. So here's the fix, start simple. Ask your sales team to question one question every Friday. What questions or concerns came up most this week? And write them down. Record sales calls. Even just listening to 3 to 5 recordings could give you a gold mine of language, tone, and hesitations. And then audit past deals. Look at why leads didn't close and what clients said before they bought. This is usually buried in emails or proposal notes, but it seems like kind of busy work, but it is critical. And then create a shared voice of customer doc, a VOC. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a Google Doc with sections like top objections, common questions, desired outcomes, phrases we hear a lot, wins, and before and after stories. Start small, just build the habit. Over time, this document will become the source of truth for aligned messaging across the company and a major asset for onboarding new team members as well. When sales and marketing speak the same language, trust builds faster and trust drives revenue. So, step two is about building revenue focused campaigns, not just launching content for content's sake. This is where a lot of small businesses fall into the trap of busy marketing. Things are going out the door, emails are being sent, posts are happening, but none of it is tied to what the sales team actually needs. The solution, well, before I get to the solution, let me pop in here to say that sometimes marketing has other goals outside of direct leads, like building a brand or building trust, things like that. And so the marketing department may need to do things outside of addressing objections, but they still need to be addressing objections and working with sales. So the solution is to build campaigns around how your buyers buy and how your sales process works. That means looking at your sales cycle, the objections your team hears, the timing of your offers, and key urgency drivers like Q4 budgets, end of year planning, or contract renewal cycles. Now, let's be honest. Marketing brains are built differently. Your best creatives, they often need more structure, not less. Creatives thrive on novelty and movement, constant algorithm changes, new ideas, new angles. That is marketing. Things happen a lot, changes happen all the time. And I get it because I admittedly do the same thing from time to time. But unless we channel that creativity into a framework that supports the revenue engine, it's just adding noise. On the flip side, your best salespeople, they're competitive, structured, and analytical. They want to know, does this help me close? If not, it's gone. They tune it out. Or worse, they'll disengage entirely. That's when you hear marketing sucks. Meanwhile, marketing feels like they're creating great content and sales isn't using any of it. And that's when you get sales sucks. This is where alignment breaks down, and campaigns are the fix. When you build revenue focused campaigns with the right timing, messaging, offers, and enablement tools, both teams can rally around it. They get clear on the goal, the assets, and how to execute. This is how you move from opinions to outcomes and from silos to shared success. And step three is what makes all of this stick. And it's where most businesses drop the ball because there's just a lot of stuff going on. And I get it. Excuse me, I'm going to have some water. You can have the best messaging and campaigns in the world, but if there's no feedback loop between sales and marketing, you're honestly just flying blind. So that's why I've been talking about and recommending this 15-minute sync between whoever's leading sales and whoever's leading marketing. Not a meeting to report out, a focused check in to ask things like what's working, where are the leads getting stuck, what feedback are we hearing from prospects, what marketing asset helped close a deal this week or last week, what's missing. You're not just aligning departments, you're aligning data. And that brings me to KPIs. So most teams are drowning in dashboards that don't actually tell you anything useful. Impressions, likes, email open rates, fine, but not what drives revenue. I call those vanity metrics. So instead, what I like to measure is lead quality. Are we attracting the right people? Sales velocity. So how fast are they moving through our pipeline? Um, CAC, customer acquisition cost, are we spending efficiently? And then close rate. So are our efforts actually converting? These are the numbers that give you real visibility and help you know where to adjust before the quarter ends. Alignment isn't a one-time fix. So I need to put that out there right now. This is consistent work. It's about developing a rhythm. So feedback loops and focused KPIs give you momentum that you can build on. Now, let's see the next slide here. So let's say you have your framework in place. You've got your shared language, revenue focused campaigns, weekly syncs, and the teams, they still won't play nice. Totally normal. You're not just asking them to collaborate, you're asking them to change behavior. Let's let go of turf wars and build trust where it may have been broken. Here's the truth: you can't force culture, but you can enforce structure. Give them the structure they need to succeed together. So, shared revenue goals, not just generate 100 leads or close 10 deals, one number to align them. I like to use revenue as my number. Non negotiable weekly syncs. So, those 15-minute meetings, short, focused, repeatable, not something that's like, oh my God, another meeting. something that, we meet for a purpose and then it's done. And then shared documents, one place where feedback lives. And if needed, bring in a revenue operations referee. That might be you or a third party like a coach or consultant. Above all, recenter the customer. Make every conversation about the person you're trying to serve, not about egos, silos, or who's right. If both teams are truly working towards customer outcomes and company revenue alignment, then all of this starts to work, even if it starts slowly. So, I have a couple case studies built in here. So, I want to talk about what this really looks like. So, let's talk about this manufacturing company because these are some of the toughest environments to initiate change. So, this was an 8.2 million precision manufacturer where the sales and marketing teams, they weren't just misaligned, they hadn't had a productive conversation in months, apparently, but honestly, it was probably years. Sales saw marketing as irrelevant, and marketing felt ignored and overwhelmed. Meanwhile, the CEO was caught doing damage control, just trying to bridge the gap while also running the company. So I stepped in as what I call a Rev Ops referee, a neutral third party to facilitate alignment, set structure, and give both teams a path forward and a voice. So we created shared messaging, a joint campaign calendar, and clear KPIs that tied directly to revenue. We implemented weekly 15-minute revenue syncs so issues got handled in real time, not 6 weeks later. And the result? We saw a 27% bump in lead conversion, full sales adoption of the new campaign, and a CEO who finally had the space to lead, not babysit departments. Sometimes what you need isn't another strategy session. It's someone to step in, shift the culture, hold people accountable, and make the work work. Tracy, I see your question. I will talk about that later. But yes, short answer is I consider customer service reps part of your sales team, but I can address that at the end. And then I've got another one. So here on the same similar situation. So a $4.8 million family-owned IT services company. The problem was that the founder, he wanted to say yes to every deal. And the son, who was the second gen co-owner, wanted to niche down and figure out how to scale this business so he didn't have to live the same way that his dad did. And sales were caught in the middle. They were chasing everything because they didn't know who to go to, who to pay attention to, who was it really in charge and making the decisions. And marketing was overwhelmed and was making reactive marketing things with no clear direction because, quite honestly, no one had any clear direction. So what we did was we facilitated leadership alignment, which in a family-owned business sometimes really just means being kind of a family referee, a family therapist, business therapist, to get the father and son aligned. We help them streamline services into clear tiers with pricing guardrails and looked at what services were most profitable and which ones were the right ones to go after. And we helped them build the marketing campaign and we set up the sales marketing syncs. And the reason that this worked and was necessary was because ultimately the father and the son were the ones driving all of the miscommunication. And so what they really needed was someone to come in and basically tell them to knock it off and let's get focused and move forward and build this business. So the result was actually a 37% increase in qualified leads, which is pretty cool. And the close rate jumped 21% on their premium offer. Marketing shifted from order taker to strategic driver. And the father and the son, they finally aligned, at least in the office. Outside the office, I don't know. And dad gained confidence that his son could lead this business without him having to step in and micromanage. And I'll take a pause here to mention that sometimes business owners, um, we like the excitement of being entrepreneurs, of being business owners, right? We get in this dopamine fix pattern where fires, while stressful, are kind of exciting and you suddenly feel useful. And so what we see a lot is actually that Business owners that are phasing out of their business and their company is, I always say, boring is beautiful. Their company is running, it's scaling, it doesn't need them, everything is quiet and it just works. They tend to come back in and micromanage and create these adrenaline situations because they need a hobby. So we often tell our first gen business owners, find something outside of this business that you can do that isn't sitting at home and annoying your family, um, to keep you out of meddling and micromanaging in a business that works. Okay, so let's take a few minutes to get this out of your head and onto paper. So, this isn't about solving everything today. It's about creating clarity so you know what needs to happen next. So, let me walk you through each question with a little more context. So, the first question is, what's your Q4 revenue target? This might already be set. We're at the end of August. Or maybe it's fuzzy. I have some ideas, but it's not really concrete. Write that number. That would feel like a win this quarter, not just a stretch, something you're willing to focus the team around. So if you have that number and you want to jot that down right now or a range, go for it. I'll give you half a minute. It's really less than half a minute, but it's one number. So then what campaigns are planned or needed to hit? Do you have any promos, launches, or seasonal pushes already scheduled? I have a client that does heavy retail in the limo industry, and right now we're starting to talk about holiday light tours and Halloween and year-end corporate parties, right? So we're starting to think about what are these seasonal things that we can kind of dig our nails into, right? And if not, what's one campaign you could run, even if it's something simple that would generate demand and support sales? So usually in the next couple months, you'll probably see from strategy leaders that we run a special on valuations to talk about year-end planning, estate planning, things like that. And so we start to think about, okay, what major things are happening at each part of the year that might drive our demographic of customer to make a purchase? And then where are the leads dropping and why? So think about your funnel. Are you getting leads, but they're not closing? Or are leads not even coming in? Is the messaging off? Follow up is too slow. There's no urgency. Jot down anything that comes to mind. Honestly, even if it's a guess. And then what does sales need from marketing to close more? So ask yourself if you were in sales, and to Tracy's point, like you probably are sales, or at least one of the leaders of sales, what asset would help you close more leads? A one pager, a case study, a better script? Think in terms of tools. What's missing? And then what's one message or offer that you will rally behind? This one is big. What do you want your team, your marketing, and your campaigns to focus on in Q4? Pick one, even if you sell 20 things, because this is about alignment, not volume. So I want you to um, take a few minutes after this webinar to sketch this out. And remember, messy answers are better than no answers. I promise. So, if you want help turning what we just mapped out into a real plan, one your team can actually execute, one where will hold you and your team accountable to get this thing done, I would love to talk. I have my QR code here is to book a meeting with me. There's no obligation, it's free. I really just love talking to business owners. I think Tracy could agree. I've known Tracy a long time, and I see some other people that I know. I really just am genuinely interested in talking to business owners, learning what's going on, and trying to be helpful. So on this call, I'll take what you started today and we can go deeper. We'll pinpoint exactly where alignment is breaking down, clarify what campaign or offer makes sense for Q4, and map out your next steps, whether that's team support, systems, or leadership work. And if you want support uh, building it out, whether through my coaching or my marketing team, we could talk about that too. No pressure, no sales script, just a conversation to help you lead better and grow faster. The link is not in the chat. And I can probably pop that in for you guys, but you could also scan the QR code. And I'd love to see what we can build together if we build with intention. All right. Oh, there's animation on this one. That's fun. So before you start assigning tasks or launching your Q4 campaign, this is the checklist I want you to gut check. So these 6 elements, just counting to make sure there were 6. These 6 elements make or break execution. Do we have a clear revenue goal? Are we focused on one core campaign or message, not 5? Is our messaging consistent across sales and marketing? And do we have the tools the sales team needs to succeed? Is there any rhythm for feedback and quick adjustments? And finally, who's actually in charge of driving this forward? This is where alignment becomes real. It's not just a meeting or a strategy document, it's clarity, tools, and trust. If you're missing even one of these, execution will get wobbly. So let's say you put the framework in place, shared language, revenue focused campaigns, weekly syncs, and the teams still won't play nice. It's totally normal. You're not just asking them to collaborate, you're asking them to change behavior, let go of turf wars and everything. So at Strategy Leaders, we deal with marketing people, we deal with salespeople, we have marketing and salespeople in our own team, right? So we've figured it out. And I honestly love being the referee between sales and marketing. I think it is so fun. That's probably weird, but it's fine. So here's some of the things that we do here at Strategy Leaders. Our bread and butter is business growth coaching. Build a company that works without working you to death, clarify strategy, structure, and systems, and shift from founder led, owner led chaos to team led growth. So you can just kind of go whatever you want to do. Leadership and operations development. So develop your managers into leaders, create accountability and ownership at every level, and get out of the day to day without dropping the ball. We do marketing and revenue alignment, align your sales, marketing, and offers, turn marketing from an expense to a driver of growth. And then succession and family business coaching. We are a family business. We love family business, and we know that it comes with some of its own special drama that other businesses do not. Totally fine. Align multi-gen leadership teams, create clarity around roles and visions and decision making, and preserve the family while growing the business. So thanks for spending this time with me. I know it's not an hour, it's a little short. I wanted to leave time for questions. I want to get to Tracy's question first. But I know how full your plate is. And so I'm hoping today gave you some clarity, a little bit of direction, and at least powerful next step. So I'm going to open it for questions, whether that's about your Q4 plan or aligning your team or dealing with your own version of sales and marketing won't play nice. And if you want help building this out, uh, Anna put the link in chat. There's a QR code here. We'll take everything we talked about today and we'll turn it into a real plan that works for your business. It's no pressure, but if you're ready to align, I'm here to help you do it. So let me address Tracy's question first. So she said, most smaller companies don't have dedicated salespeople. Yes, we are all in sales at the end of the day. Can we talk about our customer service reps and giving them the tools to sell more? I love this. So if you don't know Tracy, you should. It's probably the most easy. But Tracy owns Unique Limousine out in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And they are the best. But we've known Tracy a long time. So they're in the limo industry. And so they have, I don't know what you call your res people, but CSA, customer service, CSRs, things like that. And this question comes up a lot actually in the limo industry is how do I get my res people to um, come together and kind of like upsell and do the things like that, right? Be salespeople because ultimately they see your um, they are with your team all the time, right? They are talking to your customers. They're the face. So what I would say is that you have to have a conversation with your team. I'm actually going through this right now with one of my clients where their res people have never had to sell. They're literally just been order takers because they didn't need to. But ultimately, we have to now train them to know what's coming down the pipe, right? If you're suddenly adding concerts as a thing to sell, they might not know how to do that. A customer calls and said, "Yeah, I'm going to go to the Billy Joel concert and I need a ride." They might not be. They might be like, "We don't do concerts." So what I would say is to align who your head of reservations, your head of customer service, whoever that person is, and talk to them. Hey, we want to make this shift to upsell. In the limo industry, I think the easiest low hanging fruit upsells are um, vehicle sizing. Hey, I noticed that this SUV might be kind of tight for four. However, we have this Sprinter or whatever the next size vehicle is that might be more comfortable, or a trailer that we could pull your luggage, right? Um, so I would say start small with things they already understand, vehicle upgrades, or if you have Wi-Fi and you charge for that Wi-Fi and things like that. Um, and then, if you notice that they're going to um, the airport, this is also another low-hanging fruit is, okay, well, where are you landing? We can pick you up there too, right? Through our team of affiliates. Or when are you coming back? And we'll pick you up when you get back home. So really simple things like that. But what I like to do for this specific situation. And I saw in a manufacturing client that we had where their customer service reps were supposed to be salespeople, but really ended up being just kind of order takers, was to create this kind of guiding document, right? So to say, this month the next quarter is probably great. We're going to promote this and this. Let's have a conversation about how you might sell that to a customer. Either they're calling in and you'd like them to kind of like buy more, or upgrade their whatever they're doing, and then talk through with your CSAs on how to have that conversation, role play it, and really just give them real opportunity to understand. And what I would say is, you're going to find some people who have this job in customer service because they just want to be order takers. So not every one of your CSAs is going to be a salesperson. That might make them feel uncomfortable. So you have to find that balance between, like, you're in sales and you're a customer service person. So yeah, um, that's kind of the direction I would start in. And then I would say that anyone that talks to your customer, finance, the front desk person, whoever it is, they all need to know how you speak and how you talk to your customers. They have to be part of that culture fit for your customer service, because if I'm calling for a billing question and your billing person is not nice, right? I might not use you again. So just start thinking about those things. Where do my people touch speak to my customers? With that, if we have any other questions, Anna, I can jump
Yes.
into those now.
Yes, we have a few questions. So thank you, Robin. It was an amazing workshop or webinar. So here is the first question. What if I don't have a marketing team? It's just me and maybe a freelancer. Good one.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. So I would say that getting more focused and this framework becomes even more important. I promise you, you don't need a big team to get this done, to get aligned. What you need is actually just clarity. So what I would say is start by tightening your message and focus. One campaign, one offer, one clear goal. Don't try to be everything for everyone. Don't try to be everywhere. Use your sales conversations to fuel your marketing. Record them, pull out objections, build from there. Alignment doesn't require a department, it really requires leadership and accountability.
Yep. Thank you. we have a few more. So the next one would be, and I think it's funny. What do I do when sales thinks marketing is a fluff and marketing thinks sales is lazy?
Mm. You know, I hear that a lot because I'll tell you that my partner um, is a salesperson, and it has taken years of me being like, no, marketing is important. Listen to me, for him to finally come around. So I do get this. So make the customer the common ground. I've been in this exact dynamic, and the truth is, most of it comes from just a lack of shared data and outcomes. They're operating in silos, separate from each other, with someone being like, well, marketing said this, so now sales has to do this, and sales said that, right? Cut that noise out. What we want to do is bring both teams into one conversation about what actually drives deals. And if they won't talk, one, they're adults. Right? Like at the end of the day, you pay them to be there. They need to do their jobs, but bring someone like me in to mediate and reset that relationship with structure and not with emotion, because business owners, we can be a little bit emotional about our babies, right? Our businesses.
Thank you. And what do you think? How long does it take to see results from this kind of alignment work?
So it's really hard to give you an exact answer. It really does depend on how broken things are. But I would say that most of my clients start to see movement, positive movement, 30 to 90 days. It's not about waiting a year for the ship to turn. It's about setting clear expectations and tightening the messaging and removing the friction between teams. When that happens, the leads will convert faster, campaigns will actually support sales, and chaos starts to lift because everyone is aligned towards the same outcomes, right? One team, one dream. So I would say probably realistically 60 to 90 days. If it's really broken, it might take longer. If it's only a little bit of like sales and marketing kind of don't like each other, could be shorter.
So, and can I just hire someone to fix this for me?
I- Sort of, yes. I mean, you can, but only if you, as the owner, are clear on what fix looks like. So I will tell you that a couple years ago, I was a outsourced chief of staff for a client who owned many businesses, and basically was like, I don't want to be in the day to day at all, but I need someone that I trust that can look at this without emotion, and then come report to me and deal with my staff. So most business owners who try to outsource that kind of thing without leading the strategy end up cycling through marketing hires, consultants, salespeople, whatever it may be. So you can absolutely get help. That's what I do. And there are other people out there that do that as well. And Andy from our team is fantastic, but you can't abdicate leadership. Delegate execution, yes. Delegate clarity, no. You have to work with me or the coach or whoever it might be to drill into that, and then we can delegate execution.
Amazing. And what if I've tried this before and my team just didn't follow through?
That's super common. It usually means two things we're missing: accountability and ownership. So, alignment isn't a one time meeting, it's a rhythm. That's why we build in weekly syncs, shared KPIs, and real leadership coaching. I've helped plenty of teams rebuild trust and follow through. And we honestly just start by creating clear roles, not just coming up with more ideas. Um, Johnny, I see your comment. Good luck with your training of your CSR team. Um, you know how to find me. If you need anything, feel free to reach out. Happy to help. Anna, do we have any more questions? That was a lot.
No, no more questions. Yeah, it's good when we have
Perfect.
this active group. So thank you, Robin.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys. I appreciate all your time today. I know you're busy. Again, my QR code is here if you want to set up a time to meet with me. My email is robin, ROBYN, at strategyleaders.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn, send me an email. I would love to chat. I'd love to learn more about your business and see if we can help you in any way. So um, have a great day and we'll see you next time. Thank you.